Welcome back to Stories of Dave. This here is called Mosquito. It's a color piece, 511 words, one sentence. The kids today would call it Flash in an attempt to legitimize it. Whatever. I'm just going to read it here. Let y'all enjoy. Mosquito. If you could scooch past the bank of bug zappers all stacked up one atop the other, like a wall of concert amplifiers on the sunken front porch steps, and the ones hung all along the length of the porch from guy wires and zipline cables run through planter hooks. And if you could tiptoe through the rat's nest of copper cabling attached to those at the same time, and through the phalanx of electric fans pointed at the front door of the bungalow from the inside, fans of every conceivable size and make and blade gauge and diameter and RPM value, fans collected over time as much for what they could push outside as for what they could keep outside. If you could make it through all that mess to the kitchen, assuming it was daytime, of course, and still light enough to see your way down that first dark hallway and through the kitchen without touching anything or breathing too deep, knowing as you'd have known good and well already if you'd got that far, that you were in the home of a clandestine drug manufacturer, the shameless, corner-cutting kind who could turn a perfectly good double-wide trailer into a purple-smoking I Dream of Jeannie nightmare lamp billowing phosphine gas in no more time than it took to heat up a beaker on an electric hot plate. And if you could make it past the inverted kelp forest of flypaper hung from the living room ceiling, and all the extra hurricane fans set up in there as insurance against any mosquitoes enterprising or persistent enough to make it that far, and past the rotating cast of runaway kids and lot lizards strewn crashed among them, motionless as zombie corpses on pallets, beside smoldering ashtrays in dim corners against walls, or up chattering like rhesus monkeys cutting lines at the bar, or sprawled across sofas doodling, crocheting, chain smoking, reverse engineering all the household electronics, and then past the usually sleeping Boston Terrier Major, who kept dubious watch from the floor of the half-bath turned grow closet, usually sleeping, but not always, and almost always sure to attack if he's awake for some reason or ain't been walked in a while, even if you have treats or call him by name in a higher than usual vocal register. You would finally come to a locked door at the end of another short hallway, and behind that door at certain times of day, times never determined by anything as simple or rational as a schedule, but which you learned instead to guess at intuitively over time from abundant tertiary indicators, you would discover, huddled within a child's geodesic indoor camping yurt, decorated with Scooby-Doo motifs and draped in Star Wars blankets infused with deep woods off, the one and only Waldemar Wally Witt, who was more afraid of mosquitoes than probably any other person on earth, living or dead, and who had managed for the most part to stay one step ahead of them, for the most part, until now.